Eric Bowman in the War Horde is that he too brought 20-man units of Ork boys. Now, this is what I mean when I say that Ork players behind this curtain of simply Daka Daka, more Daka, is that there's a lot of 20-man units of Ork boys being used in that more Daka, kind of these lists like we see with Manny Chima and other lists as well. But we've also seen that you can run 20-man Ork boys ever since Index Hammer, and they be successful in something like a Green Tide, as they really impact the game status itself. So Eric Bowman ended up going 4-1 at this Irish. I'll pull this up right here. What's up to you, Gits? Watch this while I love it. Yeah. Whoa, what's up, Nate, man? What's up, you Gits? I haven't seen some of you guys in a while. Did you do a stop a paint competition? Not yet. Not yet. But we will soon. Don't worry. I love you. So right here you can see at the OP look Irish GT. Here are there was only one. There's one event that there wasn't more DACA. What others? There's another event we're gonna show at the Rocky. I'll just show it because we're ready. Right here at the Rocky Top Open is 3 Ork players going undefeated, which is minor peak of what was happening. But at this event, the person that got third was running more DACA and he lost, which is fine. It's okay to lose. They're not undefeatable. Everybody knows that. But shout out to you, Git. But I wanted to cover Eric Bozeman because he was running War Horde, and we know how War Horde kind of runs it out. So he ended up going in 9th, losing his second game. Which I'm gonna give a shout out. I think it's the Purge vote. Not sure. But, so let's take a look at his War Horde list. You tell me what you think, chat, because the chat's pretty popping off right now. Let me hear what you guys are saying. Because the Ork community right now is just rocking, dude. Even the Discord, I don't even say nothing. I'm letting you guys just yep it, fight, Facebook, everywhere on groups. The comments are reaching 40, whatever it may be, in multiple different Facebook groups. What is this chat saying though? What are you guys saying? Our community. Am I talking out of my butt right now? Do you guys feel similarly? Do you guys have hope for your Orks, even if more DACA kind of goes down? I'm still pretty good, pretty excited. And when I play more DACA and I know that I'm about to pound on someone, I just take a lot of bad walkers and have a good time in that case. Take a gargantuan squiggle, take a stop or whatever. So you can still have fun. But I don't think I'm out of pocket here, right? Right, I'm not out of pocket. But I love me some War Horde. So let's talk about Eric Bozeman and his run with the War Horde. We have Ghazghkull Thraka, which I love this kit. 2 units of Painboys, 3 units of War Bosses, 2 20-man units of Boyz, 2 truck, and then 2 Battlewagons. 2 Battlewagons. And before someone asks, let me see. This was in America, and I do not see it being ran. Yeah, this was run on WTC terrain. So, nonetheless, still because sometimes people ask about the two units of battle wagons. It's a little bit hard to stage up on the GW terrain. Do they still work? Still function? Still smaller profile than 20-man units of Ork boys. Still value in that case. But very, very very much less common to see. But is that what we're going to be see going forward? Because I'll give you a hint, more battle wagons we're going to be talking about today. Then we have 1 unit of Burner Boys, followed by a Gretchen unit, 1 Mega Knob unit. Let me see what I pull up here, guys. A bunch of stuff open. 1 Mega Knob unit, which is only 2 Mega Knobs, and they did have twin kill saws. I think if you're playing War Horde, there's a lot of value in taking 1 and 1. As in like you take 1 kill saw and then 1 power claw. That's just something I found a lot of value in it. I think a lot of the time we've seen and demonstrated. Don't think you're wrong for this. You take twin kill saws possibly because it's easy to remember, and then you get the redundancy on that like AP and re-rolling wounds. You get kind of like that assured, like, yeah, I got my licks in, against whatever I'm hitting. So I'm down with it. I'm just saying. It to the layman is what I suggest. Then we have 1 5-man unit of knobs. They all did have power claws, a 5-man unit of storm boys, and then 2 tank buster unit. As you can see again, no shotgun attack gun. This is something that I want to demonstrate to not only the Ork player base, but also to anybody who maybe is casually just watching that doesn't play Orks or GW themselves to be known. It's very common that Ork players bring flash gets, tank busters, even 5-man unit of Ludas, or have been bringing multiple detachments for the whole edition. And therefore, well, not tank busters, I guess, but the rest of the units, the whole edition. And tank busters themselves have value if you just bring them without a shock attack gun. They don't break anything, right? So don't super nerf that. We don't want that being super nerfed. It won't, change the meta of the whole game as a whole. It just gives us more tools and less feel bad moments. So, so that being said, absolutely love the damage potential that you can give Ork boys by having them near Ghazghkull Thraka and popping Unbridled Carnage for 5+ lethal. It makes it so that they actually can kill stuff that they normally can't kill. Like I always tell Ork players, volume is the true strength of the Ork player base. Whether it's volume of units, volume activations, volume of attacks. The one thing you should always kind of lean into if you're ever lost and making a determination on what to bring, in just like a general context without all the information, right? And in this case, he's doubled down on that. Now, our ability to stage up in the middle and really do a lot of damage, but also flip not only our and hold our primary objectives, but flip the enemy's natural expansion or just retain the middle is why 20-man unit boys are a big deal. Bringing them with the Painboy and then they pop the wall is awesome. And if the enemy does commit with something that is very devastating, you have Gaz there to perform heroic interventions or to allow the rest of the army to clap back with much lethality. So in this game, it was mission A, tipping point deployment. Off the top of my head, is taken hold. Yeah, I didn't make sure. Hold on. Yeah, well, I know it is that, but I'm saying I'm gonna pull this up real quick so I don't lose my spot and what these missions are. What's chat saying right here? Yeah, they're making a resurgence. It is true. The Painboy is just straight up making a resurgence right now in multiple orc detachments on multiple orc lists. We're simply seeing the Painboy or the Painboy and the Warboss and 20-man unit of orc boys being brought there. A lot of the time it's to flip the middle, and that's actually a good idea. You didn't bring up the Nord emissary, but you reminded me of the Nord emissary, right? As an orc player, knowing that a Nord emissaries are being played, you know that you're not really one-shotting that Nord emissary, regardless of beast boss or not, regardless of Thraka or not. You can't reliably one-shot that guy if he pops his field, if he gets his field no pain, gets on an objective. Therefore, just dogpiling him, dog washing him, and mobs of boys. If you're playing into Death Guard, they have Terminators, you have Morty, whatever it may be. You mob them. Agron, mob them. These units that maybe we can't kill, people are going back to kind of the bread and butter and just saying, well, I'll just kind of bury you in body. And in this case, it's working because behind it, you're bringing the death blows. And that's what I mean when I said you have Gaz on the list to kind of act as assistants. So shout out to our sponsors, the Baron of Dice, as they helped us do our wall tactic dice. So shout them out. Check them out in the description, 5% off in the discount because nobody likes taxes. And shout out to Baron of Dice. They allow us to do our paint competition. So thank you very much to them. His first matchup was against Tyranids Invasion Fleet, which I will say, as most people are familiar with, that Nids do pose some problems to Orc. The damage that Nids bring typically isn't respected by the rest of the 40k community because maybe they're not rank strength or they're enough AP. But against Orcs, they have just enough strength, just enough AP, and then they have volume just like we do, and it does good damage. So we have 2 units of Brood Lords, so that early, pressure. A Hive Tyrant, Termagons, Biovores, 2 Exocrines, 2 big bricks of Gene Stealers. So trying to run in there and just hit you with them dev wounds, and you're like, skirt me with that, boy. I got Mandos. I don't think did he bring Mandos? I'm just talking out my butt right now. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Yeah, he didn't bring Commandos. That's fine. You still have Grats. All right. So then we have 2 units of Lictors, 2 Maliceptors, 2 Tyrannofex, both with Rupture Cannons. If they had their Acid Spray, which are just like a version of Flamer. So funny. Whenever I show this on screen, on stream, they'll have like Acid Spray in small prints, and I'm just like, I forget that that's the actual primary weapon. It's but 2 Rupture Cannons is like, okay, very devastating to a battle wagon potentially if they can get line of sight on it. The Hive Tyrant doesn't allow them to advance and shoot, so they can possibly get line of sight on it. But hey, other than that, you're just kind of like, all right. Not too many great units. Don't let them shoot Gaz. We're going to get stuck in. When I'm speaking of the 5-man unit with Unbridled Carnage that finds its value against something like the Maliceptor. So the Maliceptor is typically -1 to hit. It can be -1 to wound if you're too devastated. But nonetheless, he has a 4-up invuln. Then he can also have a feel no pain. A Beast Boss does do some damage to him, so you can quite hurt him. And of course, there's other units on here that can hurt him. Now we see from Eric's list, we have Tank Busters that can start chipping him if they have to. He's not really that high toughness, he's only T10. But as you go into him, and as my boy Tiger is saying in the chat right now, and I see you guys building up super chats, I'm about to respond to you guys, is what Tyranids like to do a lot of time is set some trash forward, stage up their lone ops, so that they can kind of overlook objectives and either stage on them with touch them directly, baiting you in so they can get close enough to kill you, or they'll stack. In this case, they don't have Neurolictors, but if they have Neurolictors, they'll try to get close enough to you with Neurolictors and set offensive buffs on you as well, and make you take battle shocks. But nonetheless, they act as like a kind of pull you in and then jump on you as like predators, which is very thematic. In this case, they want to run at you and kill you, which if you don't have commandos, you can fall for that. But then again, you can go forward with screens and try to absorb that and keep them out. In this case, when you have the potential to punch through Maliceptors, because a lot of the time they will stick them right on the line and say, if I have a field no pain, you probably won't be able to kill me. When you punch that hole through the Tyranids, you kind of continue the momentum. I don't really say that you want to play the slow game with Tyranids, because they want to die for bodies. They want to die for points just like we do. And I think that's where Arrow players kind of mess up sometimes. Either they don't understand where the damage of Tyranids come from, and then they undervalue it, or they don't put the pressure on them, and then they delay too late. I know that's happened to me before. And then we have my get Zach Shuck with 14 months. Whoa, let's go my get. Yeah, it's been a minute, right? Channel's only been around for less than 2 years. I think in July is the 2-year mark, to anybody who's wondering. So 14 months means you've been here the majority of this time, I get. So thank you very much for that support. It means a lot. Another person means a lot, my boy Ecop, who's always been supporting since the beginning when we used to have like 5 people on live stream. Ecop was number 6. You know what I'm saying? He said, have you paintings already done the Stop a Painting competition? If not, when will you do it? No, that picture from earlier from the paint competition, right here, this is Ork Daggers, and he did the army paint competition we did. He ended up winning that one. That's where he got his dice. That's where this picture comes from. But we have not done a Stompa paint competition yet. But thanks for asking though. And when we do, don't worry, I'll announce it loud and proud. Then we do have a paint competition going on right now. So check out the Discord and of course Facebook as well. Main concern is GW overreacting with nerfs and creating Anakin to the death war boss's level of pain over their flash fried detachment. Okay, whoa, $5 to Mr. Murder Blad Moons for $5 super chat. Very supportive as always, my get. And I get what you're saying. I know a lot of the player base right now is, like I said, in a predicament. It's feeling up and down. We keep getting our detachments hit and nerfed. GW gives us nice things and then take them away, and it makes us feel like that we're excluded. Let me play devil's avocado, right? Both sides of this coin. One, we get a lot of love, we get a lot of attention compared to other factions that hate on us, and we have a deep data sheet. Deep codex and a lot of data sheets we have access to. And in that case, we get a lot of enjoyment and pleasure. Yes, we do give up the fact that we sometimes are the butt of the community's jokes, which I don't like, which is why I actually made a channel. So trust me, I really don't like it. Which we're actually fighting against in this channel, right? This is why we're all growing and raising the player base, and I hope that kind of teaches the rest of the community a lesson over time and gains respect. But that being said, we don't want it with broken rules. So I'm totally in favor of people, bringing us down with the rules and GW kind of accounting for that and adjusting, but we don't want to be stuffed in the mud. People takes a lot of time to paint these models, takes a lot to collect them, takes a lot of money, stuff like that. We want GW to kind of stop playing both sides of pulling the sparred tail. So I totally understand that. But what I will say about the Death War Boss thing is that was really just about how the rules was written. That wasn't specified to Orks. It was someone noticed, they brought it up, they couldn't hear, and then it's been adjusted. So that wasn't a direct thing, but Meganop still sucking a little bit is GW's fault. So we'll hold them accountable to that. Nonetheless, running over Tyranids is something that you could totally do if you bring Gaz, all the mobs of boys, flip the objectives. But if you tend to whiff, if it doesn't go your way, you can end up getting picked up. If you go second and you don't have commandos in this matchup, they can end up destroying, trapping your battle wagons. They can end up shooting your battle wagons with the rupture cannons, popping them, disembarking you, and then getting charged from devastating wounds, and then picking up all your boys. Even if they do it to only one of your units is a big factor, and then they end up touching, a truck, whatever it may be, you're fighting out of a deployment zone. That can end up putting on your back foot and end up killing you. And that's actually what ended up happening in game 2. So on game 2, where our boy went into Necron Hypercrypt, right? Which is where the Necrons could end up picking, right, with their lanes of fire, and then dropping down, popping your battle wagon, and then kind of combined arming your assets, right? Oh, don't worry. I see you guys in chat. We'll talk about super chats. Don't worry. This is live, you get. So I'm talking to you guys from now to the end of the stream, and the stream ends when I feel like it. I just typically leave it to less than an hour and a half, so people might actually watch it. Maybe I don't even know who watches. Do you guys watch it? I'm just kidding. So we have let's talk about this real quick before how we don't like Necron. So we have Locust Lord, the Silent King, Canoptic Reanimator, the Canoptic Spiders, 2 Doom Scythe, Flayed Ones, which is their infiltrate, 2 units of destroyers, 3 individual destroyers, a unit of Locust Heavy Destroyers, and then a Fatto Tesseract Volt and a Tesseract Vault. Tesseract Vault and then a Tesseract Stalker. Now, what I will say is this Tesseract Vault is the real deal, right? A lot of the time people are like, it was dumb. And what I will say is it comes off as dumb when you see it on the field, but it works. And this thing will absolutely fry and pop your battle wagons, whatever it may be. Oops, let me get rid of some of this. Now pulling up the data sheet on screen so you guys can see it. If you're playing UKTC terrain, this might come up. GW terrain, this can definitely come up. WTC, not so much because he's so freaking fat. So Fat Boy, we with him right here because he's playing Hypercrypt. You can pick him up, put him down on the field. I have seen this at an event. I did have a Stampa, and I was gonna wreck him. So, but outside of the Stampa, he's very, very, very hard to pick up. So we have 8. Movement 8 doesn't matter. He picks up, comes down. T12, 2 up armor save, 4 up invuln, 24 wounds, and then 8 OC. He has multiple profiles that he can pick from, but his powers of the Catan in your shooting phase when this model is selected to shoot. First, select up to 2 different Catan powers, weapons. So you pick 2 of those profiles. Until the end of the phase, this model is equipped with those weapons, in addition to any weapons this model cannot make with its other Catan power weapons that you did in the select of this phase. And then of course he gets to do melee, but really he's all about combat. So let's look at his weapons real quick. He has range 24. No, these are his Catan powers, but he also has some Tesla Sphere powers. So these are sustain 2, 24, 6 attacks, strength 7, hitting on 3s, 1 damage. But like I said, there's strength, there's sustain 2, so there's the volume. And then his actual Necron Catan powers. So he has Anti Meteor, which is blast, devastating wounds, indirect fire, 24-inch range, 3 plus D6 attacks, hitting on 3, strength 10, minus 3 damage. Then he has Cosmic Fire, which is ignore cover, devastating wounds, torrent, Catan power, range 18, 3d6, auto hits because it's torrent, strength 6, minus 2, 1 damage. And then we have times arrow, which is anti-character 4 plus devastating wound, precision, Catan power, 24-inch range, 1 attack, hitting on 2s, 3, minus 2, 6. So typically these 2 are the ones that are popping off, and he's just picking up his engagements and choosing where he wants to fight. Alongside the Tesseract Stalker, which will strip cover. So then he gets, he actually takes your battle wagon to its actual, appropriate hard save. And then he has the Doom Sights where he can actually choosing the engagements and picking you up after he pops you. So very, very odd and devastating, and then taking him out. If you're not used to it, of course, catch you off guard, and that just simply happened. So boop, yeah. And then there's a lot of contention about the battle wagon in chat. So I'm gonna show the next list where he ended up winning. So he did lose that second match, but we've all ran into Necrons and some weird tech piece that we weren't familiar with, and then oops, we ended up losing. So it happens. Then he goes into his game 3. And the one thing that's being talked about in chat is simply looks like chat's talking about battle wagon. I think 1 is very, very viable, reliable, and kind of like a staple in a certain archetypes. I think you can get away with not running any at all. And I think running 1 because you don't have a bunch of trucks is totally freaking awesome too. It's totally different varieties. Check out the SWAT team video we talked about, or just simply running 29 unit of bricks with it. Running 2 does become match, I would say terrain dependent, and such. So if you're playing UKTC, and I've seen a lot of guys running it on there, turning 2 on there. For GW, I see some people running 2. UKTC, WTC, I don't think you should run that 2. I should run 2. I'm not even sure you'd even run 1. I'm not even sure you'd run 1. So now we go into his game 3, which is against Leagues of Votann. So we have Iron Hill Champion, Grimnir, and then a Khal. Sorry, I randomly started saying dwarf names. I'm a fan of Lord of the Rings, okay? Then we have a 10-man unit of Hearthguard Warriors, and then another data sheets. We have 2 10-man breaks of their Einhir Hearthguard. So these guys are like 2 sides of the same of a coin. In one hand, they're T6 or 2 up armor save, but they only have 2. So Orks can kind of shoot through them and kill them. At the same time, they have very, very effective grenade launchers when you stack them with sustain 2. And then their version of Oath with +1 to hit when they get the Grudgeons, and then +1 to wound. So they get very, very crazy volume of shots on your actual 20-man unit of Ork boys. So if they get the ability to disembark your battle wagons and shoot those boys, really big issue. Then we have a 10-man unit of Jaegers. Do have an interesting reactive move. Got to keep that in mind. And then 3-man units of Pioneers, followed by 2 big bricks of Hackerton Land Fortresses, and then 2 Sechetars. So only 2 Sechetars means he doesn't have as much scouting, and he brought a lot more killing. And this is where we enjoy the fact that we have battle wagons, right? Because there is a time that it comes that a fortress, will probably get some shots off on a battle wagon. Can't reliably pop it. It can do some good work on it, but it wouldn't necessarily reliably pop it if it does get to line up some fire on it. But that means it also was really, really aggressive to get up on us. Let me clear some of these tabs real quick. Give me a second. What's chat bringing up in here? Yeah. So are you guys in dismay that you're not going to be able to run more DACA anymore, or do you guys feel like Tactical Brigade will hold up the the enthusiast of more DACA, or the people that are enthusiastic about just shooting, right? And just speaking to the kids who like to shoot, right? Are you still feeling confident that you can run shooting style of orc list without without more DACA being the factor, or do you think it really was a big factor for you? Hold on, let me bring up something also that I had forgot to mention for mission 2. So mission 2 was Scorched Earth, Swift Action, and then Tipping Point, right? Which is if Hyperkick can jump on it, put their big Tesseract guy and start burning it, throw you away, start killing you. It could be a factor as well. And then on day 3, round 3, which is what we're on now, it was actually it was the ritual, swift action, and then crucible of battle. Sorry, I had to clear some of these tabs I had open, boys. So now keep in mind when you do the ritual, kind of nice because you can build one close to you, so you have that one naturally that you can keep kind of feeding off your points. That will be a natural expansion quite safely. But in most cases, as an orc player, what I suggest is simply go take the enemy's objectives. Right? If you're playing the ritual, a lot of the time I like to say, don't spend too much time building too many of your own. A lot of the time you're going to build one and then contest the middle possibly when you're staging up, and then boom, it's full tilt. Try to swing it, go for the objectives, whether it's with transports, deep strikes, reserves, weird boy jumps, whatever it may be. Always go for the enemy's natural, what they're trying to develop on their side of the field. And this lack of Sagittars would play a factor in that. A lot of time, leagues of Votann will play their sides of the field anyways because they'll go Jaegers, Sagittars, stuff gets out, stuff deep strikes behind it, blah blah blah, I shoot at you. In that case, if you're familiar with it, then not that you can just easily work around it, but you know what's coming, and then you can start trying your best. So 80-point win there, and then we move on to this fourth, which was the Chaos Demon Incursion. So we have 2 Blood Masters, a Red Master on Blood Throne, 2 of those, and then Scarbrand. So my boy's going corn out here, man. Huh? Pretty corn. He said index time. The guy put index in the job. 2 units of Bloodletters, a brick, 3-man unit Nurglings, some Blood Bearers for Ski, 2 big bricks of Blood Crushers. So these guys did change. I think they were way more viable in Antwerpen. So we'll see if those guys end up kind of contesting the world anymore. As an orc player, they're put it simply, they're what Squig Hog Boys kind of are to us, right? But they can come in 6 inches and then charge you. So screens. These guys don't have any shooting. One of those things that we go, hey, if you're really heavily relying on fighting, then we have the trash to have you charge into that, and then we pick you up after. So he has the 2 big unit Blood Crushers, followed by Flamers, and then 3 5-man unit Flush Hounds. These guys are pretty sick. So it is what it is. What I will say is, like I always say, trash to be able to screen this guys out, so you can kind of get the initiative on them would play a big factor. And then that was a 76-point win there. And what's someone saying here in chat? No, the Battlewagon T12, boys. I was gonna pull something. I'm getting 2 fat fingers. So mission 4, like we said here, was supply drop, rapid escalation, and then sweeping engagement. All right, I'm not too much of a fan. I guess for Battlewagons that'll work. Painboy, this is a long one. It's already an hour, and I still have another list to show. Boy, we out here today, guys. We out here today, huh? Let me see this. That was his 4th, and then for his 5th game. So for his 5th game, he went into Take and Hold, Hidden Supplies, Search, and Destroy. A little bit of a classic here. Let me pop some of these tabs down. I got too many open. What's up, you guys? So let me see where I'm up on that. Boom. Let's go into his 5th game. He went into Imperial Knights. He has Canis Rex, 3 units of Helvrins. 4 units of Helvrins, followed by 5 Warglaves, a Cladius Assassin, 1 unit of Sisters with Battle Squad, and then a Battle Sisters of unit with Emulator. So this is a pretty standard meta version of Imperial Knights. So they bring the Sisters and the Emulator so that they actually have some kind of small units to activate for their secondaries, so they can get in skirmish fights and shoot, so they can screen combats, so they can have Overwatch potential from the Emulator. So they have a unit that they split squads of these Battle Sisters, so they're 2 5-man units, one's for just dying, one's for throwing some special weapons on you. So there's some value in that, but nonetheless, it's still Imperial Knights. And when you bring Ghazghkull and all those boys and Battlewagons, you can kind of stage up aggressively because it's not reliable that those baby knights can simply pop your wagon and access to the boys, right? A lot of the time, the issue in the Imperial Knight matchup is that Orc players are playing with trucks. So if you're playing with trucks, they can walk up, pop your truck, and then eat the stuff that's on the inside with their firepower. In this case, having the battle wagons and the gas meant that 95-point win that he put up here came up to the fact that he was able to kind of just run up on him with take and hold and say, well, you're going to be scoring primary very well anyways, therefore I'm going to get stuck in your face and beat the crap out of you with 20-man bricks and then get gas stuck. So great job to Mr. Eric Bowman. 9th place, losing the hypercrypt and some weird tech piece just kind of happens. A great job to you, War Horde, running the bid mobs of Boyz. And I think that you're one of the first, as several other cunning gets, to really get back on track and understand the value of running 20-man units of Ork Boys and how they play a big factor in our ability to kind of bog down the stuff that we don't want to kill, still continue our natural way of playing 40k, of flipping primary, applying pressure to the enemy, and then trading bodies for points. And I think that it's still at a good point cost and mix up that it's appealing. So people aren't really techs right now in the meta to deal with hordes and mobs. So a lot of the time it takes a lot of units to activate with all their small arms, and they can't really focus on everything else. Therefore, you get another continuous down punch, counter punch, or momentum. Big mobs of Boyz is freaking awesome. Shout out to you. Be a cunning get and check out our new order markers that are in our store. So shout out to you gets being cunning. Help you guys get all the orders set on the table nice and clean for all you gets to get stuck in. If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!